Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. That's Valentine's Day, guys. Born on this date in 1913, legendary baseball broadcaster Mel Allen of Birmingham. He called play-by-play for the New York Yankees for decades, and of course did work for the networks. A couple generations likely knew him best for hosting This Week in Baseball during the 80s. Now, y'all remember the catchphrase, "How about that?" Sorry, that's just a little shot over the bow at Brandon Gaulden's job. Today we have a former Alabamian in a Russian prison, a little more about that stolen school bus, and a couple bills out of the State House. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. A former resident of Gadsden in Huntsville was sentenced to 21 years imprisonment in Russia, reports AL.com's William Thornton. Now here's the background. David Barnes, who's now 66 years old, was married to a woman named Svetlana Koptieva. They had 2 sons and went through a contentious divorce in 2015 in Texas. During the legal wrangling, Koptieva accused Barnes of sexually abusing the boys. The case was investigated in Texas. The local district attorney found the accusations not credible, and Barnes was even given custody of the boys. However, Koptieva left the country that very week with the kids. There was a warrant issued for her arrest in Montgomery County, Texas, for felony interference with child custody. That was 2019. In 2022, Barnes traveled to Russia to meet with his sons. Koptieva, meanwhile, brought charges in Russia, and police there arrested Barnes. Now, according to reports, the Russian court claimed it had jurisdiction because at least one of the kids has Russian nationality. And, as Barnes' sister Carol Barnes put it, quote, "I'm devastated but not surprised. After all, we're talking about Russia." And we have a little more information than we did yesterday morning on that missing school bus out of West Jefferson, reports AL.com's Carol Robinson. Jefferson County deputies were notified at 6:45 a.m. Monday that a bus was missing from where it had been parked near the West Jefferson Town Hall. Just before 5:30 p.m., the bus was reportedly seen in Walker County on Free Will Road, a name that shouldn't be taken too literally. Deputies found fresh tracks and put a tracking dog on them. That led to the arrest of a 44-year-old suspect who was charged with first-degree theft of property. There were a couple of bills of note that passed the Alabama State Senate Tuesday. Now, the bill that targets ballot harvesting passed 27-8. It would make it a Class C felony for, quote, "a third party to knowingly receive a payment or gift for distributing, ordering, requesting, collecting, completing, pre-filling, obtaining, or delivering a voter's absentee ballot application," and make it a Class B felony for someone to, quote, "knowingly pay or provide a gift to a third party to distribute, order, request, collect, pre-fill, complete, obtain, or deliver a voter's absentee ballot application." Now, there are exceptions for voters who are blind, disabled, and can't read or write. Another piece of legislation that made it through the Senate is a bill that would dramatically change the Board of Trustees for the Alabama Department of Archives and History. The reason for the proposed changes given by Senator Chris Elliott, a Baldwin County Republican, was that the board members appoint any new members so that it's become self-perpetuating with little accountability. Some lawmakers in the Department of Archives and History do have a past. Last summer, the department hosted a lecture series on the history of LGBTQ people in Alabama over complaints from some legislators. And then Elliott introduced a bill to strip the department of $5 million in funding in order to send a message. That bill didn't pass. A couple of Alabama locations showed up on recent best of lists, and since every list in the media is 100% accurate all the time, we'll share them with you. First, Garden and Gun magazine released a short list of 4 destinations to visit this year, and Auburn landed on the list, reports AL.com's Ben Flanagan. Among other things, the food scene in Auburn seemed to influence the magazine, which mentioned the award-winning Acre, the Bistro Lucy's, and Chinese place Irritable Bao, B-A-O. a pun that I trust is bringing irony back and not anything else. The other list was from Billboard magazine. That esteemed music publication placed Huntsville's Orion Amphitheater on its 2024 top music venues list, reports AL.com's Matt Wake. And it was named Top East Coast Amphitheater, whether you feel like you're on the East Coast or not. The venues list was only 26 deep. It also included places such as Madison Square Garden, the Sphere in Vegas, O2 Arena in London, and Red Rocks in Colorado. Some pretty big acts have already played the Orion, which holds 8,000 and opened in spring 2022. Neil Young, Lainey Wilson, and Greta Van Fleet are on the schedule for this year. Thank y'all so much for listening. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Until then, as always, come on by and see what we're up to on the World Wide Web at AL.com.